Hey, I was gonna. Never mind. I'll wait.
Coach is
Okay,
going to start with a
perfect.
statement and then
Okay.
we'll questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand in the chat function. A recording of this will be posted to
Hey, Congressman, how are you?
Morning.
our
Good. You all right?
I'm hanging in there.
please
Calmer start to your week.
muted.
Hey, can you mute yourself?
Yeah, so far.
It's early.
Do you want me and is this positioning okay? Or the at least the horizontal or vertical?
Okay, perfect. Coach, go ahead and start with the statement. Then please raise your hand in the chat function if you have a question.
Well, hi, everybody. We're certainly thrilled to be talking here about March Madness. Feel really excited about the work that was done by my team, validated by the committee, in earning a 3 seed and earning an opportunity to host here in Carmichael. I would be remiss not to congratulate, of course, the other teams from our conference, particularly from the Triangle. You know, to have 3 teams hosting within a 30-minute radius says that basketball is alive and well here in the Triangle. But my team in particular, really excited. The path is now laid out in front of us, and March is made for great teams, and we're certainly thrilled to be a part of it. If anyone has any questions, I'm more than happy. Michael.
Hey, Courtney. First of all, congratulations. Second of all, just on a personal level, how happy are you for someone like Alyssa that she will get to play her last game in Carmichael as opposed to sitting on the bench with an injury?
Yeah, I remember senior night and knowing that she was in street clothes or in a warm-up suit and not getting a chance to hear her name at a place that she is truly rejuvenated in so many ways. That kind of stuck with me hard, right? And her desire to get back quickly. We were thinking of sitting her until the tournament, and I just couldn't sit her any longer. And I think she played the way she played in the ACC tournament shows how important it was to her that she got an opportunity to be at home once again. And it's just a great story.
Thanks.
Of course. Marissa?
Coach, you kind of mentioned it, all three Triangle teams hosting. I don't know if you've looked at all, but you and NC State, identical tip times, both pairs, both games. So the kind of casual fan having to choose, obviously putting your WBCA hat on a little bit. Is that a little frustrating to see?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at the easeability of having so many good teams in this region allowed for some scheduling opportunities where you could see, some national media can see all of these teams without much travel. And all that we needed was the times to work out. And even if they were one after the other, you can actually make it. It's so close. And so the only time that really wouldn't have worked well for the media and for the growth of this area basketball was if the games were at the exact same time. And it appears like that's what's happened. Jaden.
Yeah. Hi, Courtney. Obviously you and Duke are in the same side of the bracket, potentially playing in the Sweet 16. I know y'all don't like looking ahead, it's game by game. Um, but were you surprised to see that y'all were in the same pod?
No, I mean, you got what? You got them or NC State or Notre Dame or UConn, who we've already played, or by the time you get with these big conferences, as you advance throughout the tournament, you're going to see people you've seen before because that's why you're in these Power Four conferences. So, not at all surprised that it was them. More so than I wouldn't have been surprised if it was NC State or Notre Dame either. But yeah, I think to your previous point, I know it's coach speak, but you really can't look ahead because these teams are all so good. I mean, this Oregon State team I've dove deep into so far. I mean, they're just all so good, and you have to be good on the for those 40 minutes. So we got to take care of business before we even worry about what's next. Pat.
Hey, good morning, Courtney. You guys obviously had a really tough conference that you had to play in, and then just some really close games that you came out on the right side of in a lot of situations. Does that make you feel maybe more prepared that this team has what it takes to make a deep run?
Yeah, I give a lot. Yeah, I love the ACC is such a preparatory conference for these type of moments. I obviously spent 12 years in the Ivy League, and the possessions that you could value weren't quite as tight throughout those games. Our margin of victory was pretty high in my final kind of 5 years there. Very different here, right? And so there's just the big thing is the valuing of the possessions and how powerful and meaningful each one of them is. And you've learned that through the ACC that a charge here or a offensive tip here or or a turnover here or a big three here. Like those are game changing, and they're simply just one possession of this long game. So I do think the ACC has prepared us very well, and we scheduled for this opportunity. If you look at how we scheduled in the non-conference, we feel like with the conference champions as well as, the teams that we played that weren't conference champions, the Kentuckys and Indianas, et cetera, we scheduled for this opportunity for sure. Michael.
Hey, Courtney, when you look at Oregon State, they've obviously had a remarkable season, losing a ton of production, losing their conference in the offseason, but they've made it back to March Madness. When you look at them, what jumps out from the video of them so far?
Fearless, well coached. I mean, winning tradition. Once you've tasted winning, you're willing to put the work in, and you're willing to be disciplined and accountable at a different level, right? And this is a highly winning tradition that, although their roster has changed over, I hope that the winning we've done helps us pave the way for the future of this program as well, which is why we felt like it was so important. We've been to the tournament, except for the COVID year, every year that I've been here. Because all of that adds up to these type of experiences. So, they're fearless. They're playing really well right now as well. And they've got a good big. They've dispersed their scoring out, so they're balanced. So therefore they got a lot of guys that can hurt you and play well. And just like I said, just really well coached and a great tradition.
Thanks.
Yeah, Louis.
Hey, Courtney. It feels like just about for any team in the country, having this week off in between conference and NCAA is nice. For you all, it felt especially important. How much do you think it's going to benefit you all just to have this time to breathe with the injuries you've been facing?
Yeah, and there's just a mental and physical fatigue that comes from the urgency to host that we've all the top four teams have felt, right? And so, you're playing some of the very best teams. You get some adversity in terms of your injury roster. And also just the mental, like the preparation, 2 games a week, our bye weeks were really early, and so we've just been going. And I know that for us not to have an opponent to focus on, for us to have some days away, there's a refreshment that needs to happen as you prepare for this next gauntlet. And it couldn't have happened at a better time. I mean, really, it really was great. James.
Hey, Coach, how you doing? As far as just having, aside from having the rest over this course of this week, what was the stepping stone for you guys in the ACC tournament that you could take into the NCAA tournament?
Good and bad, right? I mean, we didn't perform very well against NC State in the semis, but we performed well previously with varying defenses, and it's. I think we've been remarkably consistent. I think our guys have played, they've gotten better as the season's gone on. We've gotten better at certain things on both sides of the ball. We've gotten deeper at certain things in our package. So I don't think we were kind of an up and down team. I thought we were remarkably consistent throughout and took the right steps. So not a real need to reinvent ourselves or to change things. I felt like this time last year with all the injuries, we actually were like literally changing our offense during that week. This one was more about maintenance, taking care of our bodies, recovery, so that we can refresh and revamp and regroup. I probably also should mention how proud I am of some of my former players. I mean, Addie Massir is the head coach at Lehigh. I coached her for 4 years at Princeton, and she's playing over at Duke. And then 2 of my former assistants, one Carrie Moore at Harvard and one Megan Griffith at Columbia. They're both playing here in the Triangle as well, one at NC State and one here. I mean, it's remarkable that the coaching tree is all kind of finding itself to the Triangle, and really rooting for all of them and proud of what they've done in their own journeys after their time with me. Chris.
I just want to follow up a little bit on your previous comment that you made. We've heard from athletes before talking about the stress that can come with being an athlete, especially in college. And you mentioned a little bit about resting and worry about, just kind of refreshing from obviously previous games. And I wonder, doing any kind of check-ins, just making sure everyone's mentally okay. And because, I mean, this, I wager, is a very stressful time for all of the players on the team, just making sure everyone's okay and taking care of themselves mentally.
Oh, always. Yeah, we just came off spring break, so we're not feeling too bad for them. They had no class and a lightened athletic schedule. But yeah, I think the courage of student athletes, that's a story that's undertold. They dream as big as anybody, and their dreams are in front of of live TV all the time, right? And so they're judged constantly by people that know them and those that don't. But they sign on for that, right? You can't have a packed house and not sign on for some of the hate that comes from people that don't have the maturity to understand what's going on, right? And so we always, I think, making sure that they have good mental and physical health is a daily priority. It's not just because of the time of year it is or because of what's ahead. That's a daily real part of their journey that we track on. Jaden?
Yeah, Lady Grant has really stepped into, such a big role for the team. As a coach, what's it like to watch her do that? And secondly, can you kind of like delve into her character, like away from basketball itself?
Yeah, special kid. I mean, I got in early this morning and she was, her and I worked on her shot a little bit already this morning. I mean, the kid is really programmed for. She wouldn't have left her senior year of high school if she was going to just kind of mess around with this experience. She's very purposeful. I texted her mom this morning and thanked her again for letting me have her a year early. But she's wired. She's wired really, really well. That intangible is elite. She's committed to what we're doing. She wants to get better. She wants to be coached. She wants to be pushed. It's remarkable. I mean, I really am not looking at a 17-year-old. I'm looking at a critical part of our team that has to play well for us to win. And I can count on her. I trust her because of the work she puts in. James. James, you got one? Or could I? Yeah. How about you, Louis?
Yes, I got one. I wanted to ask you really quickly about Kayla. Her path over the past, few years has been very difficult, I would imagine. But when you look at just the way you all interact during warm-ups, the way she kind of helps to almost serve as this morale like leader in a way. How has her role changed with her injuries, and how important is she to what you all do?
Oh, Kayla's everything. I mean, her character is on full display all the time. You come and you say you're going to contribute to winning, and then you meet obstacles, and a lot of guys choose those obstacles to be stop signs, or veers, right, or one ways. Not her. Her obstacle was just a detail, and she's got more obstacles than anybody her age should have to have. And she just showed her character. Like, she cares about her team, she cares about this sport, and she cares about this program. And so she's led with that. And so she's grown a lot for us, but she's also been a really critical leader. I mean, she's sort of acting as an assistant coach. As you're seeing, she runs things. She's got the pulse of the group. And I think it's easy if you're her to look at everybody else and ask for more, because she'd be doing anything to do more. And she does all of her recovery and rehab outside of practice so that she can be fully present for the team. She's got an incredible spirit that has permeates our roster. And she's got a love that matters. And again, this is a long season and a tough grind, and it takes a ton of courage, but it also takes love for what you're doing. And she leads with that every day. And that's something that our crew can really follow quite easily.
Thank you.
Of course. Any other questions anyone has? It's an exciting time.
Thanks for making yourself available. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Happy to do it. I know your coverage is going to be a little tricky with so much going on in the triangle. I was hoping it would work out better for everybody, but we're, you guys have told stories well, and that's been a contributing factor of the growth of women's basketball in this area. So honestly, for your coverage and everybody, and your eyes and your voices, putting words to paper and putting that out on all the streams has mattered. So thanks a lot on behalf of all the entire triangle for what you guys have done. Sound good? All right, bye,
Thanks,
guys.
Courtney.
Of course.
Thanks,
Thank
Courtney.
you. Thanks, Coach.